Good morning, and this is a video tutorial on the In the Hoop stuffed snowballs. Okay, file is loaded, stabilizers in the hoop. We're going to go ahead and do step 1, which is just the placement stitch. Oops. Okay, now you're going to lay your piece of fleece over your placement stitch, and you're going to do the tack down stitch. Let go. Okay. Now this one is the applique for the eyes. I'm using, I think you say it Mickey World pleather wet vinyl. This is supposed to be the tack down stitch, or the placement stitch for the eyes, but I don't ever do it. I just lay the vinyl in and stitch it out because I'm impatient. But this would normally be the placement, and then you would put the vinyl over it, and then of course you would do the tack down stitch. Again, I didn't because I'm impatient. Okay, now that, since that would have been the placement stitch, this one would be the tack down, but we're going to skip that one. Okay. I don't know how I'm going to do this with one hand, so I'm going to pause it, trim it, and I'll be right back. Okay, since we're going to skip the tack down stitch, we're going to go to the placement stitch and tack down stitch for the red spots on his cheek. Again, I'm going to skip the placement because I'm impatient, and we're going to go straight to the tack down. Get out of there. And these applique parts can be used with glitter vinyl, they can be used with fleece, they can be used with felt, whatever you want to do. Okay, now that that's done, I'm going to pull the hoop back off the machine and trim it, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back in the hoop. We're ready for the next step. This is going to do the satin stitch around the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. And you probably should put WSS on top because this is fleece. I personally don't. They're snowballs for little kids, so, and they sell just fine. pause this to spare you all of the satin time stitching. I'll be back when it's done. Now that I've spared you all of the satin stitching, as you can see, sorry, it's really blurry. He's all done. He's ready to go, and we're ready to add the rest of the snowball parts. Okay, so the next piece will be, take your another piece of fleece. You want pretty side down, and you're going to line it up. You see the stitching right here? You want it to just barely pass that stitching. You're going to line it up over it. Sorry, this is really hard to do with one hand. Okay, you're going to do the step 10, which is going to do the tack down for just this side of the snowball. Okay. It's driving me crazy. Okay. Now you want to lift your foot and you're going to fold this piece off out of the way. Just like that. You're going to grab another piece of fleece. Again, pretty side down. And you're going to line it up on this side. And get to the edge. Again, sorry I'm in front of the camera, but this is hard to do with one hand. Okay, we're lined up on the edge. You're going to put that foot down, and you're going to stitch the last step for this hooping, and then we'll move on to the second hooping. Okay, now we're going to remove it from the hoop, bring it right here. Okay, you're going to pull it out of the hoop. You're going to leave it folded in half like this. You can see the design is underneath, and these flaps are folded back out of the way. So you're going to unhoop it and trim it, and I'll be right back. Okay, I have him all trimmed up. The design is on the inside under the little fold back flaps. The second file is loaded. The first step is going to be a placement stitch. And once you do these a couple of times and get used to like where the layout is in the hoop, I normally skip the placement stitch to save on stitches and just lay the fleece in there and go with it. Okay, now we want to add our, get out of the way, our second piece, well, not our second piece, but our piece of fleece to the second hooping over that placement stitch. Okay, now we're going to do our tack down stitch. Okay, now on this, you're going to take your first tubing, you're going to turn it over. Okay, this piece, just this piece, everything else is folded over this side, out of the way. Okay, you're going to take this edge and you're going to line it up against here. I can't do it with one hand, so I'm going to pause it, line it up, and I'll be right back. Okay, remember, everything else is folded over here out of the way. This is just one flap folded over all of this stitching. And then you're going to do this tack down for this side of the snowball. See where it's doing. It's just going right along the edge of that snowball. Okay, now you're going to raise this foot, and you're going to take all of this, and you're going to fold everything to the other side, except for the one flap that goes over there. You're only going to have this one flap on this side, lined up again over those stitches. You're going to put that foot down and you're going to press it. It'll stitch halfway up this side, it'll stop, jump over, and finish stitching to the other side. And that's where you get your little opening to be able to turn your snowball and stuff your snowball. It's going to do a jump to leave your opening. Okay, make sure the top's lined up. Put it down. And the reason why it jumps to the top is so that you can make sure that that corner is lined up so that you don't have a gap at the top. That's it. Lift your foot. We're going to take this off the machine. Okay. And come over here. I'm going to pull it out, trim around it, and then show you before I turn it. Okay. Here's your snowball. I leave a little flap just to tuck in because I don't sew mine closed. I hot glue it. Again, I know I'm lazy. So I don't know if I can turn this with one hand. Hold on, let me turn it. Okay, here is your turned cute little snowball. Let me go stuff him. Okay, we are back. He is stuffed. All you do is either, I think it's called a ladder stitch, that closed, or cheat like I do and hot glue it closed. I've never had any of mine pop open, and my dogs chew on them all the time. So, that is the finished 4-panel snowball. These are the little seams. Cute, right?